Welcome to the Sailor Noob podcast, where a superfan and a noob talk about the original Sailor Moon, episode by episode. I'm your host, Mikan Hana, joined by my co-host.
I'm the co-host, Caliban, and the noob. You got your Hoshi and my Boshi!
And we're a couple of magical people ready to Moon Eternal make up this episode. Today we are talking about episode number 177, Hoshi ni Takusu Yume to Roman, Taiki no Henshin in Japanese, and the English translation, A Star of Dreams and Wishes, Taiki's Transformation, and the German title, Amon's Comet, or Amon's Comet.
Excuse me?
I think maybe Amon might be the name of the teacher.
It is okay. All right. They're like, no Gawa, just Amon.
Yeah.
No O.
Yeah.
Okay.
We're not going to make it even remotely like
Amon? The first of all, David Bowie's wife, the place where Iru Iluvatar and all of his people live.
Okay.
Where the elves sail when they take the Western Road.
Oh, right.
Interesting.
Yes.
Oh, well, leave it to the Germans.
They know how to make it simple.
I gotta put a sausage in the jar for every time we get an exemplary German title that just tells you what's going on.
Yeah, there's going to be a full jar.
There's dreams and romance and wishes and magic and stars. It's this guy's comment. This guy.
I know.
And only part of his name.
Arrow pointing at him. Yeah.
Yeah, it could be Air Amon's Comet. Or I guess he's a professor.
Is he a professor?
He is in my dub, or my sub.
Oh. That must be honorary, though, because he's at the high school, right?
Mika, you would know better than me.
I would think that
You're the one who's done had a 4-year extracurricular independent study course on Japanese topics. So I've just been auditing this thing. If you don't know, we don't know. But I know what people are saying about our podcast on Spotify. Every episode of the show, we ask the question, what did you think about this episode? If you go to Spotify on your app or on your PC, you can answer that question. And we got 2 responses from listeners from episode 176, Fighter's Secret Identity, The Shocking Super Transformation, or the German title, A Fight. And one of those responses is from listener Ribbon, who says, if Usagi is the Virgin Mary, is Chibi Jesus?
Oh my gosh.
My holy trinity will always be the warrior, the princess, and the fool. Yeah, obviously Chibi is Jesus. Who's the Terminator? That's what we need to find out.
Oh my gosh.
Warrior, princess, fool. Are we talking like tarot cards?
It kind of sounds like it.
Usagi's the fool.
For sure.
I don't mean I do mean like the fool, but the fool just means the main character, basically, right? You know,
yeah.
The character who is going to go on this journey that's implied by the cards. Mamoru is the magician.
Okay.
The magician, for sure. And Chibi, I don't know, man.
Wild card.
I don't know. Wild card. Yeah, you have to take that out of the deck, I think, before you start. Maybe the star.
Oh, I think that could be good. Yeah.
I don't know. But that's interesting. Yeah, food for thought. Thanks, Ribbon. And listener Cosmic Rain says, R.I.P. Minute Clinique. This is almost as devastating when My Heart is a Kaleidoscope segment was canceled. Now I have to find another podcast for Japanese fashion and beauty secrets. Still love the show. Aw, My Heart is a Kaleidoscope.
Yeah, I remember My Heart is a Kaleidoscope.
Good times.
Yeah. It's hard because you're describing fashion.
They wear the same thing all the time.
Yeah, that too.
Welcome back to the Scooby Dooby Pod, the best Scooby Dooby Doo podcast. Now let's talk about the fashion. They're wearing the same thing. Shaggy has on a green t-shirt and brown corduroys.
Yeah, right.
And
exactly.
That's it. Yeah. So, when they kind of wear the same thing over and over again. But yeah, good luck finding another podcast for Japanese fashion and beauty secrets.
You don't think there's a lot out there?
I think there's probably a lot in Japanese.
Oh, okay.
I guess if you're a Japanese speaker. But yeah, thanks for your comment, Cosmic Rain. And you can tell us, listener, what you think about this or any other episode by going to Spotify on your app, looking for our show, and answering the question, what did you think about this episode? And it doesn't stop there. The fun, they say. We also got a review on iTunes recently.
Nice.
We don't try to push people to, give us reviews on iTunes, except for right now, give us a review on iTunes. But we do like it when we get them, and we do have a new 5-star review from what I believe to be a new listener. That listener is Vivi Opa, who left a review titled, Very Entertaining. It goes on, as a longtime Sailor Moon fan, I am really enjoying hearing a newbie experience this amazing series for the first time. Some Japanese terms and character names, like Ami, are not pronounced correctly. But that's a minor detail. The point is to have fun and that the moonlight is the messenger of love. Make up, heart emoji. Are we saying things wrong?
I don't know. Like, I think maybe...
Is it like Ami?
I think maybe it's Ami.
Ami, not Ami. That's all of our French courses.
Yes.
Ami.
Ami.
Mon ami. All right, well, look, I don't feel... Again, I'm the noob here. I have carte blanche to do anything.
Yeah.
Even say carte blanche. It's probably carte blanche.
Yeah.
So much for those French courses. But yeah. But thanks for your review. And Amy's my favorite character, I think, probably. If you want to leave a review for us listeners, you could do that on iTunes. Just search for Sailor Noob. Give us a 5-star review.
Cal, can you tell us what happens on this episode?
I am going to, whether you like it or not.
All right.
This week at Juban High, the girls are checking the results of 7th examination. We all know about the 6 examinations.
Apparently.
And here's the sequel, the 7th. And this 7th examination is a big deal. Here's why we know, because the camera, like we're in a movie, pushes in over their shoulders towards the board where the scores are, and we see that Ami Mizuno and Taiki Hikaru are tied for first. And Makoto says, Taiki must be smart to compete with Ami. And Minako says, Taiki is super. You know what? I'll ask him to help me with my homework. And she runs off. And Usagi says, wait, me too. We can't help ourselves. And she runs after her. In class, Taiki is reading a book with no title. That's how smart he is. It's pretty smart. Yeah, I've been reading this book. You probably haven't heard of it because it doesn't have a title. Minako runs up and says, Taiki. And Usagi runs up and says, Taiki. And Minako says, I can't figure out the homework. Can you help me? And Usagi says, help me. And Taiki says, sure, copy my notes. And Usagi had better hope that those notes aren't in kanji.
Yeah, no kidding.
And Minako better hope they're in English. Because she doesn't speak Japanese well.
That's true.
The girls both grab the preferred notebook and they're like, me first. No, me first. Mina says, I was here first. And Usagi says, by 1 second, don't put it up in the air.
What?
We'll come back to it. Minako says, even if I was here by a millionth of a second first, I'm still first. And Usagi says, don't try to confuse me with your explanations. And Mina says, if you dig out the gold, you'll make a safe hit.
What?
And Taiki says, isn't it first come, first serve? Okay, well, I think we got our answer on what it's supposed to be. But let's do a super translation rewind time.
Rewind time.
In the Viz sub available on YouTube, the conversation goes like this. Minako says, I was here first. And Usagi says, by 1 second, big deal. And Minako says, even by 100,000th of a second, first is first. So a little faster on that one.
Yeah.
And Usagi says, Minako, you're always using silly arguments like that. And Minako says, haven't you heard of the early hit gets the gold?
What?
Like the Supremes or something like that?
Something like that.
The top on the Billboard charts? What are you talking about? And Taiki says, don't you mean the early bird gets the worm? So, no help there.
No.
And I love the fact that the correct interpretation is one of 2 different proverbs that are similar but don't actually mean the same thing.
Right.
So everything's going great. I feel like Minako. Well, anyway, the inevitable happens and the girls end up tearing the notes in half with all of their struggling. And King Solomon would be proud.
Oh
Taiki's like, oh. And we cut to Ami, who is wearing her brainy specs and also reading a book. No word on the title for this one. Or maybe there's a word on it. I don't know. But we don't know what the title is. And she looks up and she says, Usagi and Minako haven't come around asking for help with their homework.
Waggity smackety doo.
In the hallways, we see a guy in a lab coat walking up the stairs. And this guy is coded anime scientist, but can still get it. He's tall. He's got unruly hair and glasses. Actually, he looks a little like William Gibson to me.
Oh, really?
Maybe it's because I have cyberpunk on the brain, but like a young William Gibson. Actually, you know who he kind of looks like? He looks like Otacon from the Metal Gear Solid games.
Otacon.
Real gamers know what I'm talking about. Glasses, lab coat, unshaven.
An otaku is a guy like me who likes Japanimation.
His crotch is soaking wet with urine.
Oh, my God.
Real gamers know what I'm talking about. I don't think that it's intentional. I think this is just Japan code for nerdy scientist guy who fucks. Oh, and he's wearing slippers and no socks, too.
It's like one of my Japanese animes.
Ami comes running up and says, Professor Amanogawa, pretty soon we can see the comet that you found. And he says, I haven't seen Francois for 15 years. Francois Hardy?
We don't know who that is.
I got bad news for you. She just died this week.
Oh, no.
Francois Hardy, beautiful singer, model, sometime actress, 60s style icon. Let me get you started. You want to listen to La Danse de l'Amour or Tous les garçons et les filles, two of her most famous songs on YouTube. Wonderful voice. Great loss to everybody. But he means the comet. Ami says, Francois, and he blushes and he says, I mean, it's coming back through the solar system. And Ami says, you named the comet after your girlfriend, didn't you? And he's like, oh, so no answer on that.
No.
She says, I calculated the exact time tomorrow night. And a voice says, 9:15. And we see Taiki is here.
Yes.
He says, in the southern sky, crossing over Centaurus for 10 minutes, right? And the professor says, you're Taiki from class 1? Well, it's my pleasure to have 2 students who are into astronomy. And Taiki says, I'm surprised that a physics teacher passed on an invitation from Cambridge to be a visiting professor in theoretical astronomy. And the professor says, you know a lot about me. RateYourTeacher.com? What's your deal here? And Taiki says, it was in the files I received. You're attending the filming of a children's program tonight, aren't you? Oh, wait, he's a science communicator? Like Neil deGrasse Tyson? Great.
Yeah.
Okay, so he says, actually, it's a junior broadcast symposium for young students, so, yes. Taiki says, well, I'll be there as master of ceremonies, but why didn't you go to Cambridge? And the professor says, actually, I just like watching stars. I feel richness inside when I'm watching the night sky. An accurate depiction of the night sky, that is. We see Ami eating this up as he continues, where did we come from? Where are we going? Why does Sandra Bullock howl like a dog in that scene in Gravity? You know, the big questions. Ami says, you're a romantic, aren't you? And the professor says, actually, space is full of dreams and romance and nitpicks. Taiki says, in academic research, you don't need dreams and romance. And Ami and the professor are shocked.
Yeah.
Ami says, actually, he found the comet because of dreams and romance. I just did that so you knew that was Ami. There's 3 characters in this scene. And Taiki says, you're Mizuno, right? And Ami's like, I was literally at your rehearsal the other day. Just to answer a question that you asked last episode. See, I think they're kind of used to having girls hanging around.
Yeah.
Taiki says, that's a funny opinion coming from a top student. And Ami is shocked.
Yes.
The prof says, whoa, we got ourselves a badass over here. Why don't you 2 come to my house tomorrow night to see Comet Wataru? And Ami says, yes, but Taiki walks away.
Yep.
At Fruit Parlor Crown, Ami is telling the gang that the professor asked her to come to his house to see the comet. Minako's like, make sure you wear matching underwear.
Oh my God, no.
What? Ray says, a comet with your name wandering space. It's romantic, no? And Usagi says, oh, I want to find a comet with Mamoru and name it the Usagi and Mamoru Comet. It's not a great band name.
No, it's not.
It's a terrible comet name. Manako, it'd be Usagi Momori, it'd just be dash. It'd be their last names, too. It'd be the Tsukino Chiba comet.
No,
Manako
you're right.
says, but why Francois? And Makoto says, it's probably his mentor's name. And Ray says, maybe it's a girl's name. Just saying. Ami says, I think so too. She must be charming. And Usagi says, Professor Amanagawa with a charming girlfriend? And she gets a Homer Simpson thought balloon above her head with an image of the prof in it. And it says, nerd. And she's like,
I know you can read my thoughts, boy. Meow, 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 meow.
Manako says, so the professor's going to be on TV with Taiki-san? Okay, Ami, play hard to get, but not too hard. Hey, everybody, if we say that we're the professor's students, we can get in, right? And everyone considers this.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, in third production studio, producer Nezu is reading the paper and sees a story about Comet Wataru returning. She says, is this the discoverer? The guy who wrote Neuromancer? Looks pretty good. An astrophysicist sounds pretty good about now. Okay, he's the target. We cut straight to the taping of the show in progress, and we see the professor and Taiki sitting at a UFO-shaped desk, which might send the wrong message about science.
Yeah, I think so.
Aliens. The professor says, actually, there are many stars that humans don't know of. Perhaps they're waiting to be discovered by one of you someday. And then I can criticize you for doing it wrong.
Oh my gosh.
Taiki says, thank you, Professor Amanagawa. Okay, anyone have a question for the professor? And all the kids are like, me. And I think that's more fantastical than moon powers.
Oh, really?
That these kids are like, these are little kids. These aren't like brainy Ami types. Like they're little, like 6-year-old kids.
That's true.
Yeah, a lot of boogers on the seats.
Gross.
At that place. But anyway, as we see the squad standing off on the side of the set, Taiki picks a kid who asks, my grandfather said humans become stars when they die. Is that true? And all the children laugh.
Yeah.
The professor says, they're right to laugh. That was a stupid question. But it might be true.
Oh my God.
You got star matter over here, star matter over there. There are many myths and legends about people who become stars. Maybe the souls of your ancestors guide you as stars, but probably not. The kids are like, wow, but Taiki looks pissed. Usagi whispers to Ami, the professor says nice things, doesn't he? Manako says, yeah, like, don't you want to get an A in my class?
Oh my God.
It's weird.
It is really weird.
Supers has ruined me. Back on set, Taiki says, Professor, people who die cannot become stars. It's the power of living humans that makes stars. And the audience of kids is like, oh, peas and carrots, peas and carrots. Oh, yeah, I hate peas and carrots, peas and carrots. Because they're kids.
Yes.
They should say, chicken tendies, chicken tendies. Offset, Makoto is like, yes, the power of humans makes stars, yes.
Also, it makes
I have absolutely no idea what he's talking about.
Yeah, exactly.
And Mina is like, Taiki is a romantic. And Ray, looks bored. She just has this, totally blank look on her face. Go back to the episode. Everybody's like, oh, and she's just, kind of,
unimpressed.
Half asleep. Yeah. She's probably thinking, I know what happens when you die. I talk to ghosts all the time.
Probably.
Later, the girls are waiting in the lobby, and Taiki comes out of the elevator, and Ami says, are you going to Professor Amanagawa's tomorrow? And Mina says, and can you come up with an excuse to go home early?
Oh, my God.
Taiki says, no, you should wake up to reality. What you call dreams and romance can't beat the rain, can it? What?
I have no idea.
Won't change how mustard tastes.
Ami follows his glance to the window and sees that it is pouring down rain. Oh, okay. All right.
Okay.
All right. So there's going to be a problem. I was thinking, it really ought to be raining more on this show, shouldn't it?
Yeah.
I can think of 3 times that it's rained in this tropical island country, and this is the 3rd time.
There is a season where it just rains all the time.
Which season was that?
Well, it's in the summer.
Oh, I was just not thinking about
Summer
and
and
of the
fall.
show.
Oh, sorry. No.
That one's called Sailor Moon, No Stars. Yeah. Okay. That's straight. Taiki says the weather forecast for tomorrow is 100% rain, or as you'd say, magical angel tears.
Oh my God.
See ya! And he hits the elevator button, but Ami says, I know we'll see it! Comet Wataru is a reality, born from dreams and romance! And Taiki says, I wonder. Still I wonder. Who'll stop the rain? If it clears up, I'll come. And he takes the elevator down, and Ami is devastated. And I'm devastated that you don't get a CCR reference.
Oh, I'm sorry.
The rain continues to fall as we see Ami at school the next day, looking out of the window wistfully. As the school day ends, Usagi, Minako, and Makoto find Ami still sitting, watching the rain fall. And Usagi says, should we go home, Ami? Don't worry. It'll clear up soon. Ami smiles and says, thanks. And we pan across a rainy Tokyo cityscape. We head to the rehearsal studio of 3 Lights, where the boys are taking a break. Taiki, too, is looking out at the rain, and he remembers Ami's words about the comet, dreams, and romance.
Yes.
We cut to Wataru Amanagawa's residence, just as Nezu arrives. And on the second floor, we see Ami looking out at the rain, as she says to the professor, it doesn't look like it'll stop. And the professor says, there's nothing that we can do, Mizuno. And thanks for bringing this chilled bottle of Zima.
Oh my God.
The edible lab coat was a bit weird, though. Just then the doorbell rings and the professor picks up his phone that connects to the buzz box. Is this a common thing in Japan?
Yeah, it is.
Where
they
your
have,
phone
like,
also is your...
Well, nowadays they have like a little intercom thing usually. Yeah. But I think back then it could be to your phone.
Okay. I mean, we have that in here too. I just thought
Yeah.
they love convenience. Maybe that was a thing that they do a lot.
Yeah.
I used to have it. I lived in an apartment that didn't have buzz boxes because they were cheap. But the box would call your phone.
Yeah.
But then we figured out that we could find out what the number is, the outgoing number, and you can call the outgoing number, and then it calls the box, and then you can just hit the button, and it'll let you up.
Oh, okay.
Because you'd do that. You'd
Yes.
hit 9 on your house attached phone, but you could call it with your cell phone because we got the number for the box, and then you can just hit it. So we just didn't have any keys after that.
Yeah, right.
Of course, if your battery runs out, then you're just going to sleep in the parking lot. But
Yeah, there is that.
anyway, he hears, hi, I'm Nezu, a producer for Galaxy TV. And we cut outside to him meeting her at the gate where he says, sorry about this, but can we just do a quick interview? I've actually got company. Nezu says, hey, what's the deal? I asked for Professor Amanagawa's Stunad. The professor says, actually, I'm Professor Amanagawa. Nezu says, what? Bafankulo, this is you? And she shows him the picture from the article.
Yeah.
And he says, oh, actually, that's from 15 years ago. You see, humans age over time. Nezu says, this guy lying with his Tindr pic. Che bruta. Well, since I'm here, choo! And she becomes Sailor Iron Mouse. The professor falls backwards and his glasses come off, and Mouse is like, oh, good. Good. You are a good-looking man.
Oh my God.
Now I expect much from you. Give me a star seed. And she shoots twin balls of energy at him, striking him and revealing his star seed. Ami runs out the front door to see this, and Sailor Iron Mouse says, hey, now this is a star seed. Or not, she says as the seed goes black. Ami says, what did you do to him? And Iron Mouse says, bada bing, bada bup, bada bap. And Professor Amanagawa becomes Sailor Teacher.
Yeah.
Okay, that's just 2 jobs. Your name is 2 jobs.
Yeah,
Was
right.
Principal Weatherman taken? Mouse says, hey, Sailor Teacher, teach her a lesson. Oh! Sailor Teacher looks like an evil Beakman from Beakman's World.
Yes.
And he says, get to studying. And Iron Mouse says, oh, I am good. Arrivederci. And steps into her phone booth and disappears. Sailor Teacher tosses a handful of chalk that flies like daggers at normal Ami.
Yes.
But she dodges out of the way. Maybe it's time to use dreams and romance to become a superhero?
Yeah.
She thinks, I can't attack him. Plus this thong Minako made me wear is riding up.
Oh my God.
Sailor Teacher throws another salvo of chalk at Ami, and once again she dodges back. Okay, maybe she can handle this. If this is all that he's got. He doesn't have comet powers or
He
something?
should. That's a good point.
Ami says, Sensei, please remember, your comet. He doesn't say anything cool.
No, he
Because
doesn't.
he's kind of lame.
It is.
But a car parks on the street, and out steps Taiki, who says, I can only think of her words. What's wrong with me? He hears Ami scream, and he begins to run to the house. In the yard, teacher tries to smack Ami with his pointer. Somewhere, Minako just got flushed.
Oh my god.
And Ami again dodges out of the way. What the hell? Psst, stall, Ami. Stall for time. We're short this week. Just become Sailor Mercury. Your powers are defensive anyway. You want to
I
get to
know.
put a bubble around him? Taiki arrives to see this fight and says, Make her star power. Make up. That's 2 makes.
Yeah, you're right.
What if you were a creator, Sailor Star creator or something?
Instead of maker.
I don't mean to note you to
Yeah.
death. He transforms into Sailor Star Maker. That's right. She makes the stars around here.
That's right.
And I think Maker gives Mako a run for the money height-wise.
Oh, okay, sure.
They're very tall.
They are very
They
tall.
might look down on Memorial.
Yeah.
I mean, he's 6 feet under now, so everybody does.
Oh
But.
my gosh.
Teacher attacks again, lamely. Actually, a weenie scientist guy doesn't make a very strong monster. And he misses again, but Ami falls down. So, result. Sailor teacher, who has only ever to this point said, get to studying, now says, studying, just so Maker can say, shouldn't be done by yourself. Right?
Yeah.
It's like, studying, meet me halfway, come on.
Yeah, right.
That's your cue. Teacher says, who are you? Oh, he can talk?
Apparently he can.
Okay. Well, so can Maker, who says, breaking through the darkness, I'm a wandering shooting star, Sailor Star Maker, stage on. Teacher says, you study too. But Maker wants to study a different science. Obstetrics. Say it with me. Star Gentle Uterus. Maker's attack sails straight for Sailor Teacher, but he is tackled out of the way by Ami. What? No, that's not how you do it. Maker is like, what the hell are you doing? And Ami says, no, he's the teacher I respect most. Plus, I have to get his jockeys as a trophy. That's what Minako said.
Oh my god.
Just then, Teacher sits up like the Undertaker and tries to attack, but like a flash, Maker dashes forward and kicks the pointer from his hand. Teacher rolls away, clutching his hand. He's like just got a human level of durability too?
Apparently.
Like, throw this guy in a locker already. Sorry, a star locker. And Maker says, that phage is not the teacher you love. Ami, kneeling on the sidewalk in the rain, says, no, I'm sure he'll return to the teacher who taught us dreams and romance. For science. Maker looks down at her and says, are dreams and romance important? Ami says, seeking dreams and romance gives us the will to work. And Maker remembers when Ami said that the professor found the comet because of his dreams, and says, that makes sense. Does it? Apparently the phage's pointer has been in the air this whole time because he catches it when it comes down and says, back to work!
Oh my god.
And lashes out at the pair. See, he wants to work. He's got dreams of romance. On the street in the rain, we see Usagi and Luna. Luna!
Oh my goodness.
And they're walking towards the professor. I haven't seen her in a while.
No.
They're walking towards the professor's house when they hear the crack of a whip and Ami screams, Professor! And Usagi says, sounds like they got started already.
Oh my god.
God damn you, Sailor Moon Supers. Luna says, Usagi! And Usagi transforms into Eternal Sailor Moon. And we see the whole thing.
Yeah, we
every
do.
second.
Yes.
Because stretch it out.
That's right.
Once again, teacher says, studying. Huh? So Sailor Moon can say, is hard. Ami is a #1 genius girl at Juban High School. She lives at 123 Elm Street and her social security number. Come on, Usagi. Information security. Plus, how would you know all this? Secret identities.
Oh, good point.
She says, she's a walking reference book, and I came here to keep her from making a mistake. You're still just a girl, and when the right ugly nerd comes along, what are we talking about?
Oh my
I mean,
God.
I can't forgive you for bullying her. To be honest with you, I hate to study. Stretch. But I'm the pretty sailor, soldier of love and justice. Sailor Moon. In the name of the moon, I'll punish you. The girls are jazzed that she's here, but teacher says, return to your desk, and throws volley of chalk at her, which does absolutely nothing. But She says, "Oh, I've got a headache." I don't know. Teacher preps his pointer to hit Usagi, but we get, say it with me again, Star Gentle Uterus! Which Ami does not push him out of the way of. Standing right there. If she wanted to, she could.
Yeah, she could.
Just go, no. And teacher goes to the ground. And Maker says, "Don't worry, I reduced his power to half." Yeah, all right.
Yeah, okay.
I guess he'll be half as ineffectual. Wait, that means he's more effectual. I don't know science. Maker says, "Now, Sailor Moon!" And Sailor Moon gives us the shtick. And Sailor Teacher screams beautiful and becomes Professor Amanagawa once more. Ami turns to thank Sailor Star Maker, but she's gone. And it stopped raining. You knew it would.
Yep.
They can see the comet, and I think it's really important, now more than ever, to ask, what does he think happened here?
Great question.
He's with a student.
Yeah.
She comes to his house. He wakes up on his back. He's all wet. Right?
Oh, my God. Oh, my God.
Ami slips the chloroform back into her purse. Next time. Next time.
Oh, my God.
Later that night, I guess, the professor has got his in-home observatory telescope all lined up to see the comet.
Know.
And the girls are excited. And again, I feel like Ray is just kind of there. Like, she's smizing, really. There's nothing behind it.
Okay.
I don't know. The doorbell rings, and Usagi and Minako are both excited that Taiki came. And Taiki says to Ami, "I promised I'd come if the rain stopped." And Ami says, nothing. She doesn't say anything at all.
She doesn't say anything?
That's it. Let's just say that she says, "I want to know, have you ever seen the rain?" Just to make it a nice CCR couplet. The comet appears, and the professor says, "Aha, Wataru Comet." And Ami says, "Francois, isn't it?" But the professor says, "Actually, nothing." He doesn't say anything.
Oh, my God.
He laughs. I don't get it. Taiki looks and says, "I think I can see the dreams and romance you were talking about. I'll also treasure those things." Is he fucking with us?
I don't think he is.
And
but
speaking of couplets, Usagi says, "I'll see it next." But Minako says, "After me. I said it first. 1 second before, don't put it up in the air. A millisecond is still first. That's what I said." And Makoto says, "To settle the argument, I'll go next." That's it. You done crossed the line, episode. What a waste of Makoto's time.
yeah, I know.
I mean, sorry, Ray, but Makoto's back there thinking, I could be out by the dumpsters smoking a cigarette right now. Like at my old school.
Oh, my God.
Why did I come here? I don't get the Francois thing.
I don't either. Like, I think maybe he had a lover that was named Francois or something.
Lover. He took a lover named Francois.
Yeah.
That
but he
one summer on the Sorbonne.
He blushes when he says it.
Right. But as
So-
Minako will tell you, no ring. So
Right.
what is it? Are you? When we think of like everything in this show, I make fun of the manga, but like this show has done everything except show Usagi and Mamoru in bed together. And so why do we have to be so cagey about his? Unless there's something that I feel like there's something we're missing.
Really?
Yes.
Like what?
Because why would they hide his significant other if he had one?
Well, they wouldn't. That's why I
No,
feel like
she had a crush on the piano teacher.
Yeah.
And the piano teacher's like, "Oh, can you guys get out of here? I have a special lesson coming up with this young woman."
Oh my God.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Right? Right?
Yes.
she falls for unavailable men.
Yeah,
It has
I get
to
it.
do with we don't know what happened to her father, but her mother's never available, and so she is seeking people that she has to chase after. We understand. But then where is this woman? I know it was 15 years ago, but if there's supposed to be a subplot where she died or they broke up, then where's that subplot? Because you
Great
spent a
question.
lot of time just let's get every second of every transformation. Let's have a lame Yoma that you can just put your hand on their head and they're like swinging their arms and they're like, "Oh, come on, I'll take you both."
Yeah.
Right?
Yes.
Like we get to the UFO before we even get to the ad break. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, you're
Like,
right.
Usually you would go this is the old Sailor Moon I'm talking about. But Usagi would go home and there'd be lemon bars.
Yeah.
And she would get in a fight with Shingo / Chibi or something.
Right.
And then we'd get maybe a little bump, a little runner on whatever the main bad guys are or something like that. We'd cut back. We there's no Galaxia. We just start in the studio. She's like, oh, okay. I guess I'm killing Bryant Gumbel. You know, she's like looking in the paper, turns on the TV, you know.
Yeah.
Barney, you're dead. You know, it's like, and then we just cut back to like UFOs and little kids, and they didn't pace themselves very well. They ran out of time.
No, you're right.
And then it was all for this cheesy thing where he's just like, you know, science doesn't need feelings. It's like, okay, person who throws uteruses at people.
Yeah.
And then at the end, he's like, I guess science needs feelings. What are you talking about? I think it's fascinating. And look, I guess I'm dealing more in traditional nurturing gender roles.
Okay.
But I think it's funny that the person whose attack is uterus is apparently the least girly. I mean, they're not girls when they're boys, you know what I mean? But like, it's like, oh, we speculated that it was like, oh, it's a nurturing sort of thing.
Yeah, right.
And then, you know,
a gentle uterus.
Right. Once a month for a week, it's not, but.
Yeah, right.
But this person's like, I have no feelings.
I know.
Comets, hey, comets don't care about your feelings. But we fixed that now. So
yeah.
Thanks to Ami. And Ami says, seeking dreams and romance gives us the will to work. Okay, hold on. I want your opinion. It's the third time you go to the well of you being the Japanese expert.
Okay.
I didn't laugh when I said it. Is this a peccadillo of translation, or is this a Japanese attitude? Do you know what I mean? Is this some more digestible homily that when you translate it from a bored person that works at Viz, from the original Japanese becomes dreams and romance gives us the will to work? Or is that, we know that they are, the Japanese have been a kind of work-based culture, especially during the economic miracle. And so do they think that dreams and romance give them the will to work?
I certainly hope that they're not romanticizing the will to work, because as somebody who's a member of a union,
somebody who's involved in labor.
Yeah. You know, your job is not your family. Don't get it twisted. And it's not your romantic lover either.
Well, I think, slow down. Get to know him.
Oh my God.
Get to know that job. Go out for a machine poured coffee with that job.
Oh my God.
with the poker cards, you know, you look at the bottom. You know. What do you win if you get a full house or something?
I don't know.
I haven't worked in enough I've worked in some warehouses, but not enough to find out what happens when you win the Texas Hold'em hand on your coffee cup cart thing. No, I mean, like, there is an idea all over the place about the romantic idea of the value of work,
sure,
of hard work. We all know that hard work can get us, you know, where we want to go. Mm-hmm. But dreams and romance gives us the will to work.
Yeah, I
want to understand what the hell I'm hearing, and I don't know if. Let me just put it this way, because you brought it up. You brought up unions.
I did.
Would Jack London give the thumbs up to this, or would he write a nasty screed disguised as a short story or poem about this?
I feel like it would be a nasty screed, personally. But
people who love dreams and romance suck rotten eggs. He's from the 20s there. That was like the worst thing you could say back then.
I mean, it's romantic, I guess, but at the same time, what she's saying, I don't mean to get stuck on this. What she's saying is that you chasing your dream, right?
There's a
Right.
romantic ideal of chasing a dream. I have a dream to discover comets and to think that, okay, we probably don't become stars, but the idea of, the pale blue dot, everything that Neil deGrasse Tyson perverted when he became the guy behind Cosmos after Carl Sagan, right?
Yeah.
The idea of like being skeptic, looking to science, but also being amazed by this world that we live in.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter that it didn't come out of somebody's nose or whatever your mythology is.
Right.
It is incredible that we are here. The pale blue dot is this picture that is, a picture of Earth from very far away. And he's like, all the kings that ever lived, everyone who's ever lived or died, lived on that pale blue dot.
Right.
And it's this idea of like how it's so important and we need to take care of it, and to have perspective about how we are a species in its infancy and we need to make it out of this cradle. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
We can't die here. We got to keep going.
Right.
Seeking dreams and romance gives us the will to work. Dude, I don't see it. I don't see it.
It doesn't encompass everything that you just said. I
yeah.
feel like.
Well, I mean, I don't know if it was seeking to. I just don't know what it was seeking to do.
Yeah. I don't either.
Except, get those uteruses everywhere. Except reestablish for the millionth time that Ami is, she likes books. With or without titles. She's into books.
She likes learning.
She's smart.
We know that.
Don't come at her.
That's right.
And also, how do we, it's so Johnny come lately. It's so John Cena to have, I said it, to have Taiki. It doesn't even matter. This isn't like we're doing a thing where Ami's going to go across town and get assaulted by a school ghost because she's trying to find the other guy who's, got the same test score as her. They only put him up there to establish in one episode, in one scene, in about 1 minute, that Taiki's the smart one.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
It's like Ami's been ruling this roost. She, is slamming the Pocari sweat cans together.
Yeah, right.
And gets up and then peace sign on the turnbuckle.
Yeah.
And then here comes John Cena. Oh my God, the Attitude Adjuster. And Austin is down. It's like, this must be a big guy. He just took out Austin.
Yeah, right.
Right?
Yes.
So it's so stupid. It's just like, we get it. You told us he was smart. He wears glasses. Obviously he's smart.
He is the
That's
one.
where the smart is.
Yeah.
It's in the glasses. It's in the frame, not the glass. You wouldn't think.
I don't know if you remember, but when we first are introduced to the three lights and the girls are talking about him at Fruits Parlor Crown, Ami is like, and Taiki, talks about how smart he is and seems to really like Taiki.
All right. Well, look, what's the ratio of star shippers to Kingshippers?
I think there's some star
Kingshippers,
shippers.
good band name.
I think there's some star shippers out there who ship Ami with Taiki.
Especially this month.
This month? What do you mean?
What do they do when they're like, see, so some of our sailors, it'd be fine. Some sailors are like, want to change back before we
Oh my God.
start messing around?
Okay.
Right?
I suppose.
Because sometimes it's like, that's what I want. And then sometimes it's like, it's, not for me.
I see what you're saying.
Although I will say, haven't we proven at this point that all the inners are, little flexible?
Yeah, I think
they're
so.
open-minded.
Yeah, they're open-minded.
That's what Professor Amanako is going to find out.
Oh my God.
I apologize. So stars is really me.
All of you relax. This is a matter of inconvenient timing, that's all. Rebooting the podcast was inevitable. This is simply the beginning. I thought I told all of you I want broadcast silence until further...
Ooh, I'm very sorry, Cal. I didn't get that message. Maybe you should have put it on Twitter. I figured since you were relaunching the Just Enough Trope podcast, you might be a little lonely, so I decided to be your co-host.
That's very kind of you. I assume you're our mysterious podcaster. You're most troublesome for a Sailor Moon fan.
Sorry, Cal. Wrong guess. Would you like to go for an all-new show where the hosts haven't really changed?
Who are you, then?
Just a fly in the ointment, Cal. The dye in the hard, the moon in the lighting.
She's talking about the rebooted Just Enough trope, where we'll dive deep into the pop culture elements that make up your favorite movies, TV shows, comics, and video games. See if she's lying about moonlighting and find out if Bruno has returned.
No, respect yourself.
Miss Mystery Guest, are you still there?
Yeah, I'm still here. Unless you want to sing a duet with me.
No, I'm afraid not. But you have me at a loss. You know my name, but who are you? Just another podcast host who saw too many movies as a child? Another orphan of a bankrupt culture who thinks she's John McClane, Corbin Dallas, a crooning Alcopop pitchman?
I was always kind of partial to Seagram's Golden Wine Cooler, actually. It's wet and it's dry.
Do you really think you have a chance with this new show, Ms. Co-host?
Yippee-ki-yay, Mother Cooler.
Just Enough Trope, 40 stories of sheer pop culture deconstruction. Available everywhere you listen to your favorite shows.
Do I sound like I'm ordering a podcast?
Today for Kyoro Kyoro Miru, or Curiously Looking Around, where we talk about elements of Japanese culture within the episode, we're going to talk about astronomy in Japan.
Ooh.
Perhaps unsurprisingly, most of Japan's early knowledge of astronomy was heavily influenced by China. However, they didn't get it directly from the Chinese, instead learning it first from the Koreans, who had learned it initially from the Chinese.
Wait, okay, so it wasn't direct.
Yeah, it wasn't direct.
Okay.
Yeah, it kind of
They
meandered.
pulled the sticker off. They're like, wait a minute, this is
Yeah,
in Korean.
exactly.
Wait, there's another sticker under there. This is in Chinese. Wait a minute. Made in Taiwan. I guess it'd be Formosa back then.
In 1998, a star chart was discovered in the Katora tomb in Asuka Village, Nara Prefecture, a site dated from the late 7th century to early 8th century, making it one of the oldest existing star maps of its kind in the world. The chart is based on much older celestial observations made in China, and it features 68 constellations in which the stars are depicted using gold discs.
Huh.
The movement of celestial objects is also represented in the form of 3 concentric circles, with another circle depicting the movement of the sun. The polar star is depicted at the center, and that's the North Star, the polar star.
Yeah. So, okay. So they didn't. Well, I mean, it's not a chart of the solar system. It's a star chart. So they had the North Star.
Yep.
And then, okay. Yeah. So they're just that's science. They're just writing down what they see.
Yeah. Experts believe the observations were made several hundred years before the Katora tomb was constructed, possibly as early as 40 BCE.
What? So it was in like 600 years before, possibly?
Possibly, yeah. Kazuhiko Miyajima, a former professor of East Asia astronomy history at Doshisha University, has suggested that the star chart depicts the sky in 65 BC in either Pyongyang, the capital of North Korea, or Seoul, the capital of South Korea.
Oh. Korea, pretty much the same latitude as Japan, right?
Yeah, it's very close.
So how would he know?
It's like slightly further. Well, South Korea is slightly further south, I think.
Okay. So he's like, oh, because the North Star is 2 degrees higher than it should be.
He has to do it like pretty exactly, I would think.
All right. Well, still, the fact that you could even, theorize that means that it was like a pretty accurate chart. That's interesting.
Yeah.
And it's from Korea.
Yeah. The philosophy of yin and yang and wuxing was introduced in Japan at the beginning of the 6th century, and in the late 7th century evolved into the earliest system of onmyodo, or the way of yin and yang. The government office of Onmyo no Tsukasa was in charge of specific information related to both astronomy and astrology. The 4 departments of the office were divination by celestial omens, calendar making, timekeeping, and yin-yang divination.
And birthdays.
Right.
Of course.
And onmyoji responsibilities ranged from tasks such as keeping track of the calendar to mystical duties such as divination and protection of the capital from evil spirits. The practice of onmyodo continued until its abolishment in 1870, but it was permitted again after the propagation of religious freedom and the abolition of state Shinto in 1945.
Oh, huh.
A new organization for Tensha Tsuchi Mikado Shinto, considered the modern form of onmyodo, was established in 1954.
Yeah, but now it's all like Gene Dixon, and so it comes on the little scrolls that you get at the gas station.
Yeah, right.
And the thing. That's funny because it would. So like from, first of all, they got it from Korea. Well, they
Right.
got it from China, got it from whatever. But like, and then they have it a person who's like your official. It's like having a court astrologer or something like that, right?
Yeah.
And then the guy's around, and this is since like the, what's before Heian? The
Kofun is at one point. I don't know.
yeah, but there, yeah, there's a couple in between that, but
Yeah.
but so for like 1,500 years you're doing this, and it's probably all Buddhist and Confucianism, Confucius. I'm confused about if it's Confucius. And then also when like Shinto becomes like a bigger thing and more of a state religion and sort of supplants it, then you go, are we cool still? Yeah, we'll just, there's kami in there or something great. And so, because you like having this guy to tell you which way to point the city or which way the army should come from or what to get your wife for her anniversary and that kind of thing. And then in like 1870, they're like, oh, didn't you know that dreams and romance give you the will to work? And they're like, cut that out. But then 1954, they're like, yeah, bring it back. Who cares? It's fine. It's more goofy now, though.
The Japanese court astrologers often interpreted the movements and positions of stars to predict future events or make sense of current events. Their interpretations, based on a mix of astronomy and mythology, influenced the decisions of the court. This blend of science and mythology is an essential part of Japan's cultural tradition, offering an insight into the country's ancient viewpoint.
All right. In a way, that's kind of what Ami is saying, I guess.
Yeah.
Or Ami. Damn it. Is that there's science, but also there's an amazing romantic part of it too.
Yeah.
And there's mythos and okay. All right. Well, I always like it when the Kira Mirror answers the big question that I had from my recap. That's some yin and yang, baby.
Yawatashi Boshi, or passing the night stars, is the term that was given to the stars that played a significant role in the lives of everyday citizens of ancient Japan. This phrase was applied to prominent star groups or asterisms, which would appear in the east at sunset and set with the dawning sun. One of the asterisms is the familiar three-belt stars of Orion, known as the Mitsu Boshi, or three stars, which were, it is what it says it is.
A car commercial told me that.
Yeah. Sure, this isn't in German.
Well, yeah.
Which were venerated because they symbolize the start of crop cultivation, embodying the harmonious relationship between Earth and the cosmos. That's why they were known classically as Karasuka Boshi, literally Tang Spade Star.
Oh, it's like, the Diggin Stars are up. All right, roll up your sleeves.
It's time to get planning.
It's time to... Wait a minute. Does the will to work lead to dreams and romance? Is it a convertible thing there?
We can convert it the other way around?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The property of the transitive property?
The property of the transitive property?
The property of the transitive property is known as the property of the transitive property.
The constellation of Orion proper is known in Japan as Suzumi Boshi and was visualized as a drum, a symbol associated with celebration and joy in Japanese culture, and is a standard instrument in both No and Kabuki theater.
Oh, okay. All right. So Orion, our boy Orion, he's got some curves.
He does.
So that the thing that goes in like that
Yes.
that's the drum.
That's
right?
the drum,
The wide
yeah.
part on the top, white part on the bottom, and then skinny in the middle. Oh, I can see it.
Yeah,
I can see it.
I can see it too. Similarly, the Hokuto Shichise, or seven stars, were revered for their significance in Buddhist teachings.
I think I know what the 7 stars are.
Okay. What are they?
The Big Dipper.
You're right. They are the Big Dipper. Hokuto Shichise is the Japanese name given to the Ursa Major, or the Big Dipper. I searched for why it was significant, and I found that the Big Dipper shows up in a lot of ancient art, including the 7th century sword Shichise Ken, which literally is the sword of the 7 stars.
Shichise Ken sword.
Yes.
7-star sword.
Yes, exactly. It is what it says it is.
Sometimes it's easy.
Yeah. The sword is decorated with a design of the Big Dipper.
Huh.
There are several astronomy instruments that have a long history in Japan. Both octants and sextants were introduced by the Dutch sailors, with octants being introduced as early as the 1770s. They're both reflecting instruments. The octant can measure 45 degrees and the sextant can measure 60 degrees.
Everybody know this is the thing where the guy's got the thing.
It's triangular.
It's the triangle thing.
Yes.
And he's looking at the thing and he's doing the thing, and that's
Yes.
you're finding out that yeah. And octant 45 degrees, right?
Yes.
45 times 8, 360.
Yeah.
And then sextant 60 degrees, 60 times 6,
Yes.
360.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
You got it.
That's why it's like, why octant and then a sextant, but it's more degrees. The octant's higher. Yeah, no, but it's like
Your
parts.
ratio.
Yeah, parts of the circle. Yeah.
Yeah. These lightweight instruments were utilized to measure the angle between two visible objects, aiding to navigation and mapping the night sky. Another significant instrument was the star globe. These globes represented the celestial sphere and were utilized to recognize and examine constellations.
And sometimes the captain would stick those stars up on the ceiling of his cabin. This looks kind of nice.
Likes the glow in the
I
dark
think we're going
effect.
this way, towards the teddy bear.
Oh my God. You can trace the origins of modern-day astronomy in Japan to the year 1782, when the Tenmogata, or Astronomy Agency, was an institute for astronomical studies that was run by the Tokugawa shogunate.
Huh.
An observatory was later built for students at the University of Tokyo, and the Tokyo Astronomical Observatory was founded in 1888, with a mission to establish latitude and longitude and keep the correct date and time by observing the stars. The observatory was moved in 1924 to its current site at Mitaka, a city on the outskirts of Tokyo, and it was reorganized as the National Astronomical Observatory of Japan, or NAOJ, in 1988.
They must have, I would assume that they have mountain observatory. They got a lot of mountains.
Yes.
And you put your observatory up on a mountain, right?
Yep.
Hawaii's got a bunch of observatories.
I'm going to get to it
Oh,
later,
okay.
but they have an observatory in Hawaii, and
But it's the Japanese one.
it is Japanese.
They rent it. They rent the land.
I don't know about that, but they have a lot of the technology that does the readings in Japan, even though it's physically in Hawaii.
Oh, okay. Well, I mean, data
Yeah.
lines under the ocean. But
Yeah.
Or a satellite.
We're going to take a look at some modern Japanese astronomers and their work. Dr. Masanori Ie discovered in 2006 the most distant galaxy found at the time and gave scientists a picture of the universe as it appeared nearly 12.9 billion years ago.
Huh.
He broke his own record with the discovery of an even more distant galaxy in 2012. Quote, "Now I've been defeated by another group," unquote, he says with a chuckle. Quote, "But it's okay. It's a very interesting competition."
It's very, very typically demurring of a
Yes.
Japanese guy.
EA's breakthrough came in developing narrowband filters to detect Lyman alpha.
Lyman, you mean Lyman alpha photons?
Yeah, Lyman alpha photons from galaxies at the outer part of the universe.
I'm not a radio astronomer, but it's like photons that come from the excitement of gases like hydrogen. And so picking a galaxy, a distant object out from a star that is like in your own galaxy, is tough visually, or even from a radio sense. And so, it's a kind of, the light has a particular quality because of, the ultraviolet like wavelength that it's at. And so that's what they're looking for with these, when they're looking for these very, very distant galaxies.
That's really neat. Using Japan's Subaru telescope with these filters, his team completed a detailed survey of primordial galaxies.
Wait, Subaru
Yeah.
is 6 stars.
Yes.
We're going to talk about that.
We probably should have talked about that.
People get it. Is it literally like supposed to be like the Pleiades or whatever?
Yes.
Okay.
It's the same as the Pleiades. Subaru is.
It's okay.
Yeah.
Japanese people, they like stars.
They like stars a lot.
They have an evil star god.
They have an evil star god?
Yeah, we talked about it. We're not getting into that.
Oh, well, okay. They're finding that galaxy density decreases significantly between 12.8 billion and 12.9 billion years ago, pinpointing the start of the universe, earned EA the 2013 Japan Academy Prize.
Ooh.
The Japan Academy Prize is awarded to persons who have achieved notable research landmarks or who have authored outstanding academic papers or books.
Japan people.
Yes, Japanese
Sometimes
people.
called Japanese people.
Did I say Japan people?
No, I said Japan people.
Okay. I was just checking.
I had a tiny little brain fart.
That's all good.
A brain poot.
Ichiro Kokubu wanted to watch a solar system actually taking shape. For that, he turned to a supercomputer. Quote, "It's very difficult to investigate the formation of planets by telescope because the timescale is very long and the planets are very small and far away," he says. "But what we can do is a numerical experiment. We can see how a photoplanetary disk evolves with time, or how the planets form. We can do this with only numerical simulations because we cannot see them directly." Today, Kokubo is director of NOAA's Center for Computational Astrophysics, CFCA, which operates the Cray XC30 supercomputer, Aterui.
Aterui?
Aterui.
Right. Is that like an abbreviation or like initialism that's
It's probably an acronym.
supposed to be like a Japanese word?
It looks like a Japanese word, so yeah.
All right.
Aterui. The most powerful supercomputer in the world dedicated exclusively to astronomy. Alongside observational and theoretical astronomy, Kokubo calls simulation astronomy, quote, "the third way of astronomical research."
It's the third way.
That's right. It's the third way.
There's observational, theoretical, and simulation.
Yep.
Which would just be, I guess it's not theoretical.
I guess it's not because it's a simulation.
Well, you could theorize something and then make a simulate. Is it really a third way? I think, is he trying to big up his expensive computer and his center that they made for him?
Maybe. I wouldn't hold it against him. But...
Worth every yen.
We're going to talk about some of the observatories and astronomical instruments. Kiso Observatory is an astronomical observatory located at Mount Onitake in Japan. So there you go. Here's one on a mountain. It's an observatory. The observatory was founded in 1974, originally as a branch observatory for the Tokyo Astronomical Observatory, with the aim of studying extragalactic astronomical objects. Since 1988, it has been taken care of by the Institute of Astronomy, Faculty of Science, University of Tokyo. It is home to the 105-centimeter Schmidt telescope. It is currently open for use by astronomers from all over the world. Misato Fukugawa is among the NAOJ astronomers utilizing ALMA at NOAA's Chile Observatory to study protoplanetary disks. The ALMA telescope consists of 66 high-precision antennas spread across 16 kilometers or around 10 miles. The powerful radio telescope allows astronomers to look beyond a disk's dusty outer surface to see larger masses and structures within. One disk Fukugawa studied had the appearance of, quote, two bananas encircling a central star, then observed in infrared. But when she looked at the same object with ALMA, it had a more of a horseshoe shape.
So this is in Chile.
Yes.
And I'm assuming it would be in the mountains too, right?
Yes.
But it's 60. This is like if you've seen the movie Contact, like what the Jodie Foster's using, where it's like an array.
Yes,
so
it's an array.
Usually like a line or lines of radar dish telescopes.
Yes.
But I wonder if they're in the mountains and then they'd be at different elevations. Because do you need them up high? Because there's pampas, there's flat area in Chile as well.
Yeah.
Not a lot of it, but okay.
I mean, sometimes they're like clumped
Where's
together.
the Chilean contact? That's what I want to know.
Why hasn't this happened already?
Contacto.
Quote, "We think that what we saw in infrared is light scattered by the solid particles in the upper surface of the disk. But with ALMA, we think we can see the density structure in the mid-plane of the disk," she says. Quote, from this structure, we think a little bit of growing material is distributed in this shape.
So this is like a sonogram of a planet, basically.
Yeah.
Like we find exoplanets. Now we're finding proto-exoplanets or exo-protoplanets. Interesting. Have to ask Misato.
Subaru telescope is the 8.2 meter, 320 inch telescope of the National Astronomical Observatory of Japan, located at Mauna Kea Observatory on Hawaii. It was named after the open star cluster known in English as the Pleiades.
Yeah.
Until 2005, it was the largest monolithic primary mirror in the world. The summit of Mauna Kea is an isolated peak that sticks out above most of Earth's weather systems. Because Hawaii is isolated from other land masses, trade winds blow smoothly over the islands, and there are few cities to pollute its dark skies.
With either pollution or light, I suppose.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, Hawaii's good for something. They don't grow pineapples there anymore, so.
They don't grow pineapples there anymore?
They didn't grow pineapples in the 90s when I visited with my high school band trip.
Really?
Yeah, they had already switched to, oh gosh. I can't remember now. Some other continent.
Okay.
So you go to the Dole factory and they're serving pineapple juice and stuff. And it's like, oh, it's all out of a can. We don't.
Really?
Fresh from the field. Sure.
That's surprising.
So interesting. I wonder if there's not. We're watching a show about the moon and stars. Mm-hmm. Not a lot of actual science in this show, huh?
No, there's not.
Although I can't guarantee that a boys' show, a shonen show, would also have science. But it seems like might be an opportunity to
Throw some science in there.
Teach the kids a little something.
Yeah.
Yeah, that just kind of occurred to me. Because a lot of maybe that's like shonen or maybe like seinen. I feel like a lot of manga, especially manga, and sometimes anime, are just like info dumps. Sometimes.
Sometimes, yeah.
If you're a really good draftsman, and also you got some reference books about an interesting topic, you can make an anime.
Yeah, that's true.
I don't know if you're going to write your characters well, but that's what tropes are for. And so you see that like a lot. A lot of people, I don't know why. Oh, that's right. Recently I saw a post where somebody was talking about, like there isn't just Japanese people. There's Ryukyuans and Ainu people. It's like, yeah, all right.
Okay, yeah.
I'm glad you know that. It's not new information, but that's true.
Yeah.
And somebody else was like, yeah, you should watch Golden Kamuy because it's like all about the Ainu. And it's like, that's true. But I'm pretty sure, I have to double check. I don't think the guy that made it is Ainu. So he's basically just doing like, all right, I got my Wikipedia open. I got my final draft open. And I'm going to write this lady's going to kill a bear. And then talk about how important that is to the Ainu or whatever. So it's like, all right. Well, make sure that, there's some Ainu mangaka that get to do stuff too.
Yeah, that would be great. I mean, I think one of the only other times we've seen like science in Sailor Moon is the Sailor Moon S movie. And that was like,
there was Motoki's girlfriend.
That's true.
Who became
Motoki's
a science
girlfriend.
monster.
Yes.
With test tubes.
That was fun. She was a good Yoma.
Ah, the good old days.
I know, right? When they were actually interesting and...
Now we got Sailor Teacher.
I mean, last week we had Sailor Director. That was 2 jobs also.
Do
you think they've just decided we're not going to be creative with the names anymore?
Look, we'll get there.
All right.
We'll get there.
Itadakimasu with Usagi. What did Usagi eat in the episode? At Fruits Parlor Crown, the girls have melon soda, orange soda, and coffee or tea. Ami and Amenagawa Sensei have tea at his home.
That's it.
Yeah, that's it.
Not a food show.
No.
Never really been a lot of food on this show.
Except whatever Usagi is stuffing her face with. But yeah.
I'm being sarcastic.
Okay.
I'd take some rainbow kitten chow for Luna or somebody eat something. Come on.
I know. It's a lot of drinks at Fruit Parlor Crown, so.
I know. Unazuki's standing in the back like, this bitch is sitting here all day. All they do is drink green soda. Or a sheet cake or something. Come on.
Yeah, no kidding. Villain Gauge, we rate a baddie 1 to 5 dark stars, 5 being the most wicked. The phage in this episode is Sailor Teacher. The name meaning, he's a teacher. There's really not a whole lot to say about this.
Sailor Professor would even sounds better.
It does.
But I suppose that...
Or Sailor Sensei.
You're right. Like, why is he a professor? Maybe it is... Maybe he was formerly a professor, and so like the president, you're always called Mr. President.
It's just honorary. Yeah.
Or it could be, see, that would be some depth if it was like an ironic nickname. The students called him. This guy just shows up, and he's literally exists, so there's a comet. That's it.
Yeah.
And we don't, and also, just name check or give lip service. That's what I'm looking to. There's a name and there's lips. Give lip service to the idea of another like halfway crush on an old man from Ami.
I know.
Ami.
What are
Children
you
of
doing?
divorce. I don't know. No, I'm just kidding. But so we've got this guy, but if he's kind of a joke, and then that's what Taiki is sort of, twisting the knife on when he's like, the kids call you professor, but what's up with that? And he's like, oh, well, I think I'm smart. Isn't it because you used to be a very famous and successful astronomer, but you've flamed out and now you're teaching at like a public high school in the middle of Tokyo?
Yeah.
Maybe all that's implied, but it's not in the episode.
No, it's not in the episode at all. He has purple skin and bright green and brown hair that is spiky and pointy on the sides of his head. He is wearing a white lab coat with a Sailor Fuku blue collar and a red tie. He's wearing a brown belt, pink pants, white gloves, and brown lace-up shoes. He also is wearing white winged glasses and is carrying a metal pointer. He has chalk erasers on his upper arms and a red and blue pencil tucked behind his right ear.
He's got eraser epaulets.
Yes.
The return of the epaulet. Not like this.
No.
Not like this.
No. Oh, I weep from the days.
Go clap your epaulets out.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. On the left side of his face, it says 100 is written in red as if it's scoring on an exam. And there is also 100 written on the back of his lab coat.
Should be on his butt.
He throws pieces of chalk, which hit the ground like arrows and stay in a slanted position, but don't actually hit anybody. There are elements of the design, and so now we're up to our rating. There are elements of the design I really like. The 100 mark written on his cheek and having the pencil behind the ear, but I feel like having 100 written on the back of his lab coat is too much. Like, just pick one. Pick either the cheek or the lab coat. Don't do both.
Yeah, Professor Chanel would be like, look in the mirror.
Yeah, exactly.
Of the bathroom of the boys' room of the public high school you're teaching in. And when you turn around, the first number that you see, erase that number.
That's right. Use your epaulets to erase that number.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's kind of ineffectual. I'm going to give him 2 out of 5 dark stars.
I gotta say, I'd bear no, like when you do something with extreme prejudice. I do this without prejudice. It's a 1.
Fair enough.
This just sucks.
Yeah.
And by every metric, I don't want to give him a 1. I kind of like his, there must be some, maybe they had Beekman over there. I don't know. There's got to be some, for kids, mascot Japanese science character that maybe this
sure.
is drafting off of. But it just you're a mess, dude. It's every part of it is a fail. He's very ineffective.
Yes.
He's inconsistent because he says one thing because the writers didn't want to write anything else, and then just also he'll set you up for your thing.
Yeah, right.
And it's not like, what if he smacks you and then you have to sit down and then he calls on you and you stand up and he asks you something, you get it wrong and he smacks you and like the nuns in Blues Brothers or something like that.
Sure.
Some kind of teaching thing other than chalk. He's got chalk. Also, throw the chalk up. Why are you throwing at the ground? It makes
Great
it really
point.
It should be stuck in the wall, the house behind her, not
you're
his
right.
walkway. So this whole character, we talk about how the characters are always, what does he do? He's a farmer. So we've got a milking stool or a pitchfork.
Yeah,
That's
right.
what they do. But the magic of a Yoma and the je ne sais quoi, there's that French again,
Yeah.
is making it seem like that's not what they're doing.
Right.
But this guy, it's just nakedly a brainstorming session where there were no bad ideas.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's like, he's got chalk. Chalk's got erasers. Put him on his shoulders. 100. He wants you to get 100. 100 on his face. Is one 100? Two? We need 200s. So one on his back too. He's got crazy hair. Oh, and at this point, I think it's cute that he's got the Foku collar on the thing.
Yeah.
But they all have that. They're all wearing something, and then they just put like sailor highlights on it. So you don't get anything for that.
Yeah, you're
so
right.
by every metric that I would go by, this guy has failed.
Yeah.
Rate my teacher, F. You get a 1.
Trivia. I have one little piece of trivia for this episode. Taiki's transformation sequence, Maker Star Power makeup, was seen for the first time in this episode.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
Obviously.
I know.
Good trivia.
Okay. All right.
Trivia means 3 roads. Did you know that?
I didn't know that.
Trivia.
That makes sense, though.
Where the 3 roads meet is where people talk and gossip and you get information.
Oh.
It's trivial.
It's true. Oh.
There's some trivia.
That is some trivia.
You're welcome.
That's great. Now we're up to our rating. I don't like when Taiki says there's no place for dreams or wonder and scholarship. I like when Ami defends the sensei by saying that, quote, his dreams and wonder are what allowed him to discover the comet. I like how supportive the girls are of Ami and saying that they're sure that the weather will clear up. I like Nezu's umbrella with the mice on it. Did you recognize or see that?
Yeah, that was cute.
That was really cute. I don't like that Sailor Iron Mouse thinks that Aminogawa sensei is good looking once he's not wearing his glasses. I mean, that's a trope, but come on.
Glasses wearer.
Yeah, I am a glasses wearer. That's true. I like how Ami's words and her intentions get through to Taiki and she's able to change their mind. But I'm going to give it was a little confusing in some parts of this episode. I'm going to give it 2 out of 5 roses.
Okay, well, you're consistent. That's important, consistency. And I'm going to be consistent as well and give it a 1.
Okay.
I don't know what to say. There is no furor. There is no fire behind this one. I don't hate it. I just find very little to like that we haven't seen before.
That's fair.
They should be thinking about it this way. You've got like 20 episodes left. These
Yeah.
are the last 20 things you'll be able to say about these characters.
Right.
We should be using this time to do important things.
Yes.
You go, well, it's a cartoon. Yeah, it's a cartoon. But you, in the past, built this journey for this character. This is the only character that really has a journey, which is she's going to be a doctor.
Yeah.
And she has fought for the grades and got them. She's fought for the isolation that studying brings and the sometimes ostracization of her peers.
Yeah.
She's fought academic rivals. She's wondered if she just wants to be a girl and have fun, or she's going to go to Germany and become, air doctor.
Yeah. She's played chess.
Okay, right. That's a terrible example, but that is something that she did. And so here we are, probably one of the last times you'll get to do something like this, and they do nothing with it.
That's a really good point.
It's disappointing.
It is disappointing.
And it's really only, and I like our new guest stars, but it's really only to just go, yep, check off. Nobody can say that we didn't give this guest star an episode where they go, dumb. Actually, not dumb. And then once again, I'm a little upset at the misuse of Mako.
Yeah.
Does she like the little one? Probably not.
The little one?
Ray likes the little one. Who's going to be in the next episode? Because poor Mako is just standing here. And in this episode, she's not even saying obvious things like she usually does. She's just literally saying
something
nothing.
To get the show
there would be
moving.
Yeah, there would be 5 seconds of silence if nobody said anything. And so she's like, it's pretty great. And then they would just move on. And they're third wheeling her. They're trying to third wheel her now into the Usagi Minako thing, the Usanako thing.
Yeah.
Because now they've like put, oh, I'll break the tie. Huh, I'm going to do it. Oh, ho, 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 ho. Get out of here. This is our thing. We can help that. Help you to some whoop ass.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. And then, you don't always feel it. I'm sure always time management's a problem, but this episode was just like, you just feel them straining to hit 23 minutes or whatever it is, doing everything they can to just stall, stretch to get to. So come on, you guys, you can do a lot better than this. I'm not mad. I'm just disappointed it's a 1.
That's fair. My English title is Moon Shoot, Stars Land.
I don't know where. Well, we yeah. All right. I'm glad that you're unleashed now. I'm glad that you're able to pursue your favorite. I'm glad you have the desire to work for these titles. It must be all that dreams and romance.
It must be.
I didn't want to work too hard on this, but I will keep it in the kind of movie Hollywood showbiz theme, and we'll just say this one is Comet by Your Name.
Next episode, we are talking about episode number 178. Luna wa mita? Aidoru yaten no sugao in Japanese. The English translation, Luna's discovery, the real face of Yaten.
Hold on. It's a Luna episode?
It's a Luna episode.
Wait, I don't understand what's going on here. So, hold on. I know that they're one short, but Ami's just going to secret horn dog anyway, right?
Yeah.
Like, I thought that we were kind of pairing these kids up. Like, I didn't think they were going to end up together, but, there's a loose connection. Even when it's other girls, like the Ayakashi sisters.
Yes.
It feels like there's kind of lines being drawn.
Yeah, exactly.
And then in this, they're like, the little one, Luna, she's the connection.
Yeah, I know.
Luna should have been with this guy.
You think so?
He's an astronomer.
That's true.
He's a perfect rebound for her.
Oh my God.
Okay. Well, I gotta say, I'm happy about a Luna episode.
Yeah.
But I have no idea what's going on. But that's why I keep coming back.
Yeah.
For the Sugao. Wow. All right. Well, I guess I'm looking forward to that because it can't be any worse than this week.
Oh my gosh.
But I still had fun talking about it.
Yeah, me too.
Thanks for joining us, listeners. I want to remind our listeners that we have a new podcast on the network. If you like cyberpunk, and when I said the name William Gibson before, if your ears perked up, you might like this show. It's called Mona Lisa Overpod, and it's available wherever you get your podcasts. Myself and Lyda Morehouse, author Lyda Morehouse, are the co-hosts of the show, and we talk about cyberpunk media, cyberpunk books, TV shows, movies, that whole bit. And we also talk about what's cyberpunk really all about, man. It's not just hacking. It's not just leather jackets with ground effects. Have you seen this now?
Ground effects?
You seen this? You heard about this? They got cyberpunk's got, it's a leather jacket, but there's like neon light up strips in it or something like that. And it's like, all right, walk around with a battery pack. It seems like a lot of work for me, but maybe we'll talk about that. But yeah, it's a new show. We're hoping to go a lot of fun places, and we've already talked about Blade Runner, so just get it out of the way right away, right?
You might as well.
Sorry, everybody. We're just going to talk about Blade Runner right now. So if you like cyberpunk, sci-fi, fiction, media, movies, check it out. It's wherever you get your podcasts. I want to remind our listeners also that we have a Patreon at patreon.com/Sailor Noob. And we talk about it all the time, but there's a lot of extra content there. If you're interested in other podcasts about other animes, about Studio Ghibli films, we're currently in the process of releasing Nausicast, our podcast about the works of Studio Ghibli, and other great things like Sailor Cinema, where we talk about Japanese and Japan-related films. Very excited, because in a few days we'll be recording a show about Daimajin.
What is Daimajin?
Daimajin, yeah, you know what Daimajin is. Daimajin is the giant stone statue that protects his village.
Oh, that's right.
It's a kaiju movie about a giant statue come to life, and there is no monster. At least not in the first one. It's a monster versus, imagine the Seven Samurai, but the Seven Samurai are just one 300-foot tall stone monster.
Oh my God.
You're in trouble, bandits. So we'll be talking about that on our feature Sailor Cinema. All these things are available to you at patreon.com/Sailor Noob. Hey, check out our Discord. There's a link to it in the show notes. And if you think we're doing a good job on the show and you want to put a little something in the tip jar, you can go to ko-fi.com/JustEnoughTrope and say, doing a good job.
Well, that's our show for this week, and the Name of the Moon will be punishing you next week with another episode of Sailor Noob.
Don't put it up in the air.